10, 2 pieces of half make up? 1 whole. What was the answer, class? 2 pieces of half.
Because when I was a student, when my maths teacher teach maths, usually they just use a compass or a wooden frame teaching us about fractions and things like that. But nowadays it's a bit different because the children are very hands-on. They use manipulative and they can actually picture out what does it mean by, let's say, 2 quarter made into a half and then 2 halves made into 1 whole. So actually moving on, sometimes some of the teachers do is that they actually buy pizza and they actually get the students to cut the pizza into number of pieces, let's say 6 pieces, and each one get a slice. So they will ask the students, okay, so what fraction of the pizza is it? So this is just one example whereby it can actually applied or be seen in your daily life as well. English, generally when we're taught, let's say for example composition writing, we were actually given a topic, the teacher will just discuss a few points and you just write. Then later on it became that you actually discuss in groups, talk about the heading, and then you move around the groups. Now it's a bit different. We want the children to actually experience what is it like. For example, the bubble blowing thing, then you realize that the children may be asked to actually write about their feelings, how they feel when they're doing the bubble blowing. Some teachers actually use that to get the students to write instructions, to verbalize at step 1, what it's supposed to do, step 2, step 3, step 4. They learn this since primary 1. So there's a lot of reflection of values because we don't believe that values can be caught, but values should be taught.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Previously in the music lesson, we just learn to play the recorder and things like that. But now we make sure that they engage all the time. So the teachers will actually make sure that they do rhythm and dance so that they know that the count a bit of 4, what does it mean? And then they have to improvise as well. So that there's a teamwork. So this is how they learn to be a bit more articulate, a bit more expressive. Because people have commented that Singaporeans are very quiet, not very expressive. When the student commit a mistake, we don't just reprimand in school. So we ask the students questions like, what have you done wrong? Why do you do this wrong? Who have you harmed? What can you do to rectify the harm? Then they'll think and they say, oh, okay, maybe I need to write a letter of apology to the person. And then we also ask, okay, how can I, the teacher, help you? Then we actually make them responsible.
Last time during our time, we see that old people will get up and let the old lady has to sit and all this. Yeah. But nowadays, sad to say, a lot of kids will say, if you are so immobile in the first place, don't come out. So a lot of times we need to start them from young, to teach them about empathy, to teach them about putting other people before you.
This booklet is actually a booklet designed by us. It's called Seminar's Journey. So I won't say every lesson, but once a term, each subject will have to get the students to reflect on the values learned through the lesson, be it a maths lesson, science lesson, or English lesson. In our school, we have any corners. So they are asked questions about the history of Singapore. They actually write it down, and they also have to reflect what it means that as a Singaporean, how do I feel when I go to any corner? The same booklet also accompany them when they go on learning journey.
They learn subjects through different ways, like visiting the supermarket to learn about calculation of money-wise. They learn to visit gardens to learn about the germination of plants and all this.
We have students who are, when they come in, they cannot sit still. Although they have gone to kindergarten, they cannot follow. So we actually have to teach them skills like, okay, you must sit down, you must be able to pay attention first. Okay, you must join your friends in some activity. Then we have a buddy for him so that he doesn't get so stressed out. Then we track, and we find that by the end of primary 1, he can actually cope very well, and his results actually show. We base it on our Castle theory, that means the social emotional learning, where they say that when the child is motivated and the child has self-discipline, the academic results will come naturally. And there are some parents who may question, especially the primary 6ers, and then parents say, oh, are you preparing my child for the primary 6 PSLE properly? But what we have shown them is that because through this experiential learning and through the values they learned, the students who have graduated from this school, they actually bring back to their parents and to the next primary 5 parents who say that we actually have learned, and it has taught us to be more resilient, and they have actually done better for the PSLE. So it correlates, so that when they go to secondary school, they are very well prepared.